CD102.5 has had a huge impact on WCBE, although a lot of people won't realize it. One of the major ways is through specific incidents, and then there's just broadly. A specific incident would be way back when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. Columbus came together and decided to do this big fundraising benefit for the people of New Orleans to help them, in that time of disaster. And so all the radio stations, except one, lined up on Broad Street in front of City Hall. It was really cool to see all these stations coming together to help. Well, CBE has never had a lot of money to have good remote equipment. And so we had patched together a remote kit so we could be down there and broadcasting and encouraging people to come by and donate along Radio Row. We could not get the equipment to work. There was something wrong with our ISDN unit, the little box that gets the audio back to the radio station so we can broadcast from there. Well, Randy wasn't the general manager at CD102.5 yet. He was basically my equivalent at the time. We were both kind of rose to radio parallel. He was the operations director. And fortunately, he knew ISDN units inside and out. And without even asking, he could tell by the look on my face something was wrong. He popped over from what at the time was CD101's booth. He popped right over, he looked at it, he said, "Oh, yeah, I know what's going on here." Flipped it around to the back, wiggled a few wires, pressed a couple of buttons, reprogrammed it, and we were on the air. That was how I met Randy, and that's how, right away in that first meeting, WWCD impacted WCBE. He helped keep us on the air. And the great thing was, not just kept us on the air, but kept us on the air for the good of a broader community. And that's where it gets into the subtle side. CD102.5, like WCBE, really believes in the Columbus community. And so the very fact that they're sending out those same messages of support local, of support Columbus, of be proud of Columbus and the culture and the music and everything Columbus offers, that benefits WCBE too. So we're both down there in the trenches working for the good of the culture of this city. And of course, those tendrils cross and start to benefit each other. Independent radio is hugely important. Non-independent radio, we'll define that as a station that may be broadcasting locally, but it's programmed from afar. It's owned by people who aren't part of this community. Local radio keeps a local voice on the air. Local radio cares about the community in which it lives. And I mean live, not just operate, not just do business. Because local radio is staffed by people who live in the community. It's owned by people who live in the community. So by that very nature, local radio, whether it's commercial or non-commercial, is going to care about the community in which it lives. More than just broadcasting a signal out there and delivering ears to an advertiser. It wants to nurture that community and keep the community strong and do good for that community. Because it's not about the bottom line of making a profit at the end of the year. It's just about making enough money to stick around so you can keep doing good for the community. Independent radio definitely has a national ripple effect too. Think about it just from the music standpoint. Let's look at someone like Angela Perley. Is a great example because both radio stations, CBE and WWCD, love Angela Perley. Angela's on the go. Angela's an act that more and more of the nation is finding out about. Nobody outside of Columbus would know about Angela Perley, though, outside of some club operators, without the help of radio. It's local radio that can take elements of local culture and make a broader world aware of that culture. And that goes way, way back. There are artists who may not be that big and well known today that were huge in their time. And they came out of Columbus, like in the jazz world. Rahsaan Roland Kirk, this amazing jazz prodigy, came from Columbus. Nancy Wilson, jazz vocalist, came from Columbus. Without local radio promoting those local acts, it would have been so much harder for them to have gotten national attention and kind of blown the bird. But they blow Columbus so that they can move on and help the national scene, even the international scene, get way, way cooler. So that's just from the music standpoint. There are other ways. It's local is where things are invented. Local is where new things are tried. Local is where people think out of the box and implement. It's almost like an inverse economy of scale. When you're local, you don't have this huge bureaucracy you have to deal with to get approval, and you don't have some board of directors that says, no, the stockholders aren't going to like that because it's going to cost money and won't see returns for 3 years. Local can say, well, yeah, but it'll be fun for those first 3 years, and then we'll start seeing a return on that investment. So let's try it. All change is local. That's the simple reality. And all change starts with one person, with you. If you don't care enough about something to take action on it, and that doesn't mean you have to hit the street with protest signs and do that kind of stuff. It means little things. It means voting on election day, because one vote really can make a difference. The last few elections have showed that. How many races people won by these little slim margins. Well, it means taking action by, in the case of radio, in the case of CD102.5, in the case of WCBE, taking action by supporting the businesses that support these radio stations that you love. You know, go to them, go to those sponsors, buy a Pepsi from them. You know, but while you're there, tell them, you know, I really appreciate that you support the radio station that I believe in too. So, yeah, local's about action. 2.5 is the bomb. I mean, over a decade, when I stress out at WCBE and I need to get away from my work, CD102.5 is where my ears go to chillax and just hear a different kind of music that's also my kind of